What's up, YouTube? Hope you can hear me. If not, I'll do a voiceover, but we're going to do the first of the mods that I've got coming to the Jeep. We're going to go ahead and knock it out tonight, and that's going to be the tonneau cover. So I got the BAK hard roll-up tonneau cover, so let's do a quick unboxing. Okay, so I'm not going to get the whole thing out yet. The only thing that's left in the box is the actual roll-up cover. So let's see what we got so far. So it looks like this is going to be the Revolver X4 actual instruction manual, as well as the seals. So you got some foam gaskets, and these are going to be the tie straps to hold it open, like when it's rolled all the way up, to hold it in that position. Got a couple more pieces of foam, probably deals with sealing it, probably around the edges is my guess. And the good old trusty hardware, which there's not a lot of hardware. That's great. So, instructions first, although it looks like a fairly straightforward installation.
Wrong.
Okay, there's actually two different thicknesses of the strip, so we'll figure out what that's for in a minute. A few more pieces of hardware and the instructions. So,
2,000 years later.
Alright guys, a couple things I've learned so far on this BAK bed liner, this roll up. Yeah, you see me in the reflection. It's a nice spring day. It's getting hot out here. So I've got this side on, and I haven't put this side on, so I wanted to give you guys a couple quick tips and a couple things that I've learned. And quite frankly, the instructions on this particular kit, I personally don't find very useful at all. Way more complex and quite frankly confusing than they need to be. Give you guys an example. This right here. So you guys look at this, right? To me, this looks like the bolt is going into the truck bed. Yeah, I can't blame you for wanting to ride your motorcycle. Definitely a good day for it. But to me, this looks like the head of the bolt is going to be towards the fender, right? And the bolt part is coming out into the truck bed, where you have a spacer and something to lock that spacer on. These are little locks to keep everything in place, and then there's probably a nut. Well, that's absolutely incorrect. It's the other way around. But to me, this isn't a clear diagram, and there's certainly no clear explanation here as far as which direction. And I mean, again, thread the screw through the washer. I mean, come on. There's no description on which bolt it is, which washer. I mean, none of that, right? I mean, you get this where it gives you the legend, but I mean, come on. It's like, tell me, you know, take screw A, thread through washer B, so you can match it up to the legend. So these instructions are terrible in my opinion. You guys got to do a better job. So you can see I put these in incorrectly. It's actually the other way, so I got to take those out and remount. The other thing that I've learned is up front, this little guy right here, it's got one of these, it's like a threaded sleeve that goes through the front fender well. So make sure you get the right size screw that threads into there. And if you've got a spray-in bed liner like I do, and the instructions at least do say this, you need to scrape out that top hole at the very edge, right by the actual fender liner. You need to strip that out so that you can actually get everything through there, otherwise it won't fit. And then the last thing that I will share with you guys is this giant bolt right here. Let's see if I can get this to focus, and if I can't, it looks like an 18, so a Torx 18. Make sure you have a bit for that, because it is a pain in the ass. And they also do not include that. So that's another tip. The only thing they include is one single star key bit, and that actually is for the bolts right up here on the side of the bed rail. So it's a little dark, sorry about the brightness here, but that's the only thing that they include. So you're going to need at least this guy, which again, that looks like an 18, I think, is what's stamped on it. I'll double check. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I'll double check this one. And also, this little guy. They do not include the right type of wrench to tighten this. So I don't know exactly what they're doing here with what they're including. You know, they've got all this hardware, and only include one single tool to actually affix this thing. So they obviously assume that you've got a set of tools, which hopefully you do. Otherwise, you're not installing this guy. So let me get this side on and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, making progress now. I got the other side on, got this thing laid out. Next, you just slide in the actual mounting bolts in these little notched grooves, so that's easy enough. And they're gonna fall right down in here and mount underneath. And then guys, I believe we will be done. So let me get those mounted up and we'll circle back. So here's the mounting hardware for that, and we'll get that going. Hey guys, just wanted to do a wrap-up video on the tonneau cover installation that I finished up last night. It was really dark last night when I was doing filming, so I figured I would try to get some light and see how this thing looks in the daytime. Sorry about the lawnmower in the background. It is definitely spring and we got all kinds of yard work to do. But yeah, so super impressed with this. It turned out really nice, I think. And again, this is the Revolver X4 from BAK Industries. You know, it's a really unique design because it's hard, right? But it has like a felt top, so it's not like a piece of aluminum like some of the other trifolds are. This actually has more of a textured, almost fabric style top, but it doesn't move. It's actually really rigid. And one of the other reasons that actually led me to choose this one is the fact that there's not a lot of what do you call it, essentially bed rail overhang, if that makes any sense, because literally it's taking up half or less of the actual bed rail. So my hope is, and I may have to change my thought whenever the time comes, but my hope is that if I ever want to do a rack, I'll have enough to drill a hole, you know, through the top of the bed rail and bolt it to the actual frame or the body, hopefully. I may not have to take this off, and then again, I may. Still got to do a little research, and if I figure this out, I'll post it in the description. But there's these little channels right here, and I don't believe this is strictly for water. It wouldn't make any sense because it's got the little bit of a rake. So I'm almost wondering if this is some sort of accessory groove where you can slide something in and mount it, because it's literally just a channel. And it doesn't make any sense why they would put this here unless there was some sort of accessory that's designed to slide in this track. So I really hope I can do some digging on the internet and find out what that's for, because if there was some way, because this is a super solid mount, plus it's resting on the actual, you know, body, so it's really rigid, so you could actually put a lot of weight up here. So we'll see. I'm gonna do some research on it. But yeah, so functionality wise, I mean, it's just like any other tonneau cover. I mean, most of them nowadays, you've got this little, probably can't see it all that well, but this little cord, and essentially you pull that and it unlocks the side latches. Now, one of the things I want to show you guys is I really love this, because as you might imagine, going down the side here, if this was just a soft cover, and even with the metal frame, you might think you could just pry it up from the side. But what's really cool is when I roll this, it's a really unique design, because like I said, you can see the frame now, essentially the skeleton of this guy. And when you roll it up, it's got some cords amongst all the pollen. Jesus, I need to get in there and do some pressure washing. But you can see the straps, got one on each side. And essentially the way those work is you just pull them around, and then on the back side you've got the clip, just like you would on any other tonneau cover, and that actually keeps this from bumping up in the window. But it does come with some bumper pads, so if it were to bounce into the window, you're protected. So what I wanted to show you is the locking mechanism on this, because it's super awesome. So this right here, notice the track running down the side, and check this out when I pull it down. See how it actually locks? The whole way down is actually locking. So when this is closed, I mean, notice how much contact, I mean, literally it's all the way down that it actually locks. So it's a real secure system, and literally you just roll it out all the way down. And you can actually close the tailgate with the top open, because it actually makes a pretty good seal. But I actually like to just close the tailgate and then just pop it in on each side. And now it's good and secure, and it does actually have a seal right here, the way the tailgate comes in contact with it. So no water is going to get in there. The only possible spot where water could get in is right in this tiny little groove right there. There might be, you know, an opportunity for a drop or two to go in there, but very, very small. And then up front, really nice seam up here. It's actually got some weather stripping, plus there's a pad. You can almost see it sticking out a little bit. There's a little pad that sticks on to the top of the bed, and this weather stripping comes in contact with that. So definitely no water getting in up front, and definitely poor old truck needs a good wash. Yeah, but I'm super impressed with it. I really love the look, and as you can tell, it's just a really nice, sleek design. You get some angle shots of it. Really clean, and again, I really love the flat look rather than having the factory soft tonneau cover that Jeep provides. I definitely like this a lot better. It's a nice, sleek design. It doesn't flap in the wind, and also it's really rugged up top. So definitely love it, and I think it was probably the best tonneau cover that I've installed to date. You know, I've had a couple trifolds, and just like I've said before, I wasn't a huge fan of rolling those all the way up because the entire rear window would be blocked. And with this one, you know, if you roll it up, you're only losing about a third of the window, so you can still see what's going on in the bed, what you're hauling, what's behind you, etc. And I definitely think that's important. So far, I think this is probably the cleanest design that I've installed yet. Super low profile, looks good on the vehicle. And although it was a little bit difficult to install, once I went through and figured it out with some trial and error, we got it put together fairly well. I think it took me about 2 hours all in to get it done. Definitely looks good on the Jeep. I'm satisfied with it so far. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're alerted with any new videos that I publish. And just as a reminder, the whole idea with this JT build is I'm going to be doing a video for every part that I install. Just a quick installation, a review, and just my general thoughts on it as we go through this build. So be looking for more videos to come, especially once we get the lift, you know, wheels and tires installed. We're really going to start ramping it up and getting it off-road. We're also going to do some really cool trail rides with some drone footage, so stay tuned for that as well. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope to see you guys soon.